Um, Item Master Inquiry, or F2 on your keyboard if you're keeping track at home, um, is
It's the master inquiry screen for items.
and did we go over? Did we do inquiry screens as their own?
We did, but I think with what we want to do with these templates, let's spend some time. Let's walk through item master inquiry on
Did
its
you
own.
make a?
I did.
Um, yeah, I mean, Item Master Inquiry. For me, it was always useful as the person that was in charge of figuring out what the heck happened. Or it's the first place I go if somebody says, "Hey, I have 20 of these in stock, but I can't do anything with them." This is where you go to find out who's allocated to, it also gives you a screenshot into the purchasing of this item. I mean, it's everything, almost everything other than the audit trail.
I'm gonna laugh if that's been put in. It has not. I'm not going to laugh.
One of my favorite tabs on here is the Who Bought What Lot tab.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll cover lots of stuff. But it's essentially every open sales order, every closed sales order, every PO. Like, there's all kinds of different options on these tabs. You could literally spend an hour just talking about all these tabs.
That's what we're actually supposed to be doing.
Oh. Boy,
that is the point of this live stream, actually. Believe it or not.
Hey, I didn't know that was how that was supposed to work.
So let's spend an hour talking about it. All right, right off the top. If you get into the criteria screen, you can narrow this to locations. There's also a system setting that makes it default to your home location that's set up on your
system or user setting.
I thought it was a system setting. Now you're gaslighting me, and I have to go find out.
I think it's user.
I think it's system.
You'd find it much quicker if you just went to user, because that's where it lives.
Wow, dude.
Man, I hope I'm right. If I'm not, that's gonna suck.
Let's see.
Oh, dang. Oh, that's company. That's company. That's company. That's not your because you can have a assigned location.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what the user setting says.
I'll say we're both right. How about that? You don't even need to go into user maintenance. Like, you don't need to go in there. It's fine.
No, it's fine. No, I mean you're very, very confident that this is where we're gonna find all the keys to the universe. So.
I can tell you exactly. It's at the bottom right.
Default the user's location. Okay. Do these work in tandem? Are they? I don't know.
I don't
know. Okay. Well, that little side quest finished. One thing about this screen that a lot of people miss because they just don't know it's there is right-click, refresh data. Mm-hmm. It's great. I mean, again, if you've made a change somewhere, you want to get right back in and look at this, just refresh data, just kind of forcibly reloads everything.
One thing I don't understand, why are the classes in the extended description on the criteria tab? Because once you enter your criteria...
Yeah, it's flipping to the other. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So now, one last thing, though, is even though this looks grayed out, you can also control the start date, which there's a default for that. I'm assuming it's in system settings, but yes. Master of user maintenance.
It is system settings, yes.
Okay. You can control like how far back you're looking at all these transactions and everything. Again, this drives to system performance, so 9999 is not a setting. Just saying.
Yeah. And on each of the tabs, you can manipulate the dates there.
Yeah.
Which comes in handy when you have 204 allocated. You go to open sales orders, and it shows 100.
Right.
It's most likely your date, well, or it could be allocated to other things, but We've had this happen in my previous life where somebody fat fingered the date on a PO, and it was like 2010 or something like that. And so
did they choose DeLorean as the shipping method, or?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
So yeah, if you don't see it, monkey around with the date. Eventually, you could go back to the beginning of time, 1990, and if it still doesn't show up, then you just have ghosts in the machines and run an item rebuild.
Yeah, that'll fix it.
Yeah, it fixes everything.
All right.
You land on the inventory tab, gives you the inventory at all locations. Each one of these screens is their own Dynachains, so you can manipulate them some. There's some you can't. I do advise against trying to put too much extra info in here.
One thing that we don't really have this set up well for, and let me see if I can quickly get us there. Is being able to see in different units of measure, which I think can be very helpful.
That is true.
So I want to take a quick second to set that up. See, now you have to freeze and you can't say anything or blink. That way, when I cut this, it looks seamless.
I'm totally used to doing that.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
I'm sure people will watch the videos and go, man, my P21's not as fast as yours when you click on it. Yeah, because I chopped off the 30 seconds in between.
Right, yeah. There's no waiting. All right. Units. And we're going to add case. I'm not going to make it a default or anything like that. It'll be a case of 12.
Oh, do you have weight set up on that?
Should I?
Yeah, because I thought it shows you weight on that.
I have a purchasing weight.
Net weight is what we need.
Where is it?
It's the second one. SKU net weight.
Oh.
Why it said SKU net weight? I don't know.
But everything's usually named the same thing, so it's much easier.
It's always named the same thing.
I don't know why I made those different.
I don't either.
All right.
Maybe we can see which one.
Okay, so let's refresh data.
Hold on a sec. Close this for me. I want to show you something. Never mind. I was going to show them how the F2 worked. You were in item maintenance. You would hit F2.
Well, it's not like they can see me push F2.
Shh.
Okay. Side quest over. This is... So, it's going to default to whatever the default sales unit is. But if you just select a different unit of measure... On the right, you can see all of the quantities change to be reflected in that unit of measure. So I think
it's the base unit of measure.
Is it the base, or I was thinking it was default selling, but okay, it's one of those.
It's one of those.
Okay, and then anything obviously that you see with the little arrow and box, that is a link that you can click out to and go see something else.
Does it carry the unit of measure to that tab as well?
Let's find out. Yes, it does.
It does. That's cool.
Yeah, and you can change that here.
Oh, maybe it does do sales since there is a base and a each, which is the sales.
Yeah, so it's pretty slick.
You know what? I just learned it. I never knew that I knew about changing the unit of measure and it would change your quantities, but I never dawned on me that it carries that over with that drill down.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Transfer is going to show you open transfers, and it's split outbound on top, inbound on the bottom.
Go back to the inventory tab. I want to see if we have any. We do not have any on transfer. Okay.
No.
I was going to change the date so we could show what I was talking about, but there's none on transfer. It's fine.
Okay. This is a lot controlled item. And similar to how the units of measure work, if I select a different lot up here, it's going to refresh the bin information of what bins that lot resides in down at the bottom along with its allocation. If you're using traceable factors as an extended lot attribute, that would show up here. If the supplier ID was picked up, that would show up here too. I don't think these would, because these were probably inventory adjustments.
Do you remember one of the things that you had to do for me back in the day? So, and we'll get into lots. Traceable factor is the only one that you can put on here from a lot attribute group. But we always wanted, we had like 4 or 5 that we wanted to display. We had to go around every elbow you can think of to figure out how to get all that data on there. It was not.
It wasn't easy, but
it was not fun.
But yeah,
it was very necessary for us.
Yeah, I mean, so if you have other extended lot attributes you want to see on here without having to right click and view additional lot elements, yeah, doable. It takes some work, but doable. So bins, kind of the same thing, but in reverse. If I select a different bin, then it's going to show me what lot those those bins are in. You can also show empty bins, which is going to show you every bin that it's ever lived in, as well as identifying which bin is your primary. So it can be handy. This is going to show you what it's been substituted for and when, what it was substituted by and when, and what the acceptable substitutes for the item are. Interestingly, the interchangeable flag's not on here. I think it should be, but that's just me. Can probably be done and changed on. If you're using secondary process, the same thing. This is just showing you the different secondary processes, whether it was a finished good or a raw material.
Well, you have to, it's a toggle there.
Yeah, yep, that is correct. So your open ones are here, your completed ones are going to be here, and I think these are going to be the inventory receipts or the process PO receipts. Probably the process PO receipts down here.
Yeah, that's the, when you're actually outsourced, like you're doing.
Yeah, it's external. Correct.
Yeah. Which is a very neat feature, and we are definitely going to do videos on production and secondary processing. For sure. Where are we? Cost. So this is going to give you sort of the see, like this right here, in my opinion, is one field away from eliminating the need for the audit trail. Right. I was just thinking it tells you the price, but it doesn't tell you how did that affect the moving average cost. If you knew that on this screen, you'd be golden. Right. But this is going to show you all the different receipts against that. I like the PON0 there. That's a nice touch. It's a new system. They'll work the bugs out. Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, this is sales orders with your unshipped pick tickets and scheduled releases in there as well. Then purchase orders, so there's POs that are open, the sales orders that are linked to them. I actually didn't realize that was there. I like that. I like. Yeah, it's one of those ones where it changes just like the receipt down there. Yep. Changes based on. I do like that. All right, so this is just a reflection of that location-based replenishment tab and item maintenance that's kind of giving you... Oh, that's interesting. See, like, I never scrolled down before. Did not know this was down here. Huh. There's a lot of information in Item Master Inquiry. I mean, this is cool. This has got, like... This is your last PO and your next due in. I really like that. Uh-oh. Wow. I think there was a glitch in the matrix right there. So this is a reflection of your item history with your forecasts and error percentages and all that good stuff. One thing I do like is you can get in here and change, like I want to look at last 9 months because 3, 6, and 12 just is not what I want to see. You put that in and it's going to, number one, knock this down. And then I think that's kind of weird. Not sure why that just happened. But the main thing is doing is right here.
is changing this user defined average daily use or monthly usage. Excuse me.
So here's a question I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the world is the forecast usage editable here? And it is. You can change it and save it. That seems insane on an inquiry screen.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I don't like that.
Nope. I swear it was a mistake, and then it was actually a customer of ours that pointed it out to me. I'm like, "There's no way you could do that," and I'm like, "Oh no, you can." So we protect it. Yeah,
I am very uncomfortable. I just want to see what it does now. Wait, I can't type in there.
Maybe it was in other versions you could.
Oh, never mind. Oh, well, at least it wants me to make a comment.
Yeah.
Oh, that. And it doesn't even like... You want
to see if it actually... Did you save it?
I did. Well, it didn't take, number one.
Did it take your comment?
Maybe it thought I was being too much of a smart
Did you actually save? Because it didn't actually clear the item out. Because your item ID was still there.
I'm going to try this again. This is like...
Wait, where did you type it?
Right there.
No, the number, where?
Right there.
Okay.
So that's period 2 of 23.
Hit tab or what? Change it. There you go.
See, the save button's not even enabled.
That's...
This is like, we're beyond bizarre at this point.
I think you bugged it out.
I'm gonna clear. Actually, you know what? We're going all the way. I'm gonna close and rebuild it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if someone can just willy-nilly go in here and start changing usage, like that is twist your mustache and tie someone to a railroad track crazy. I mean, that shouldn't even be allowed to exist.
Hey, if you click that little box, it'll take you straight to it.
I was going to press F2 instead.
Oh, I appreciate that. So yeah, just pick the last one to change.
2 of 23 is not... There's nothing in there that's... Oh, I have to change something. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to change it and then hit save. I think it bugged out when you hit save.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just do, like you said, the very last one. Okay, it said it was successful. And it doesn't even say that. Ugh. Dinah changed this field out immediately. The only thing accurate about this is the fact that it made the percentage miss 100. That I agree with. Oh my gosh. No. Just no.
Well, it's not even like malicious. Like it's somebody accidentally typing something in there could extremely throw off something.
I can't believe it. I can't even believe it. I'm going to item history to just make sure this isn't some feature that makes you feel better about yourself, but doesn't actually do anything. Oh, it's for real. Mm-mm. And what's worse is you can't recalculate or anything from there. Dude, that just shut it off, people. Just shut it off. Should not be allowed to exist.
Anyways.
All right. That hurt.
I'm happy I could bring that to you today.
Man, years off my life. Years off my life.
Purchase stock card. We have talked about this at nauseum on other, but it's essentially, if you went and ran this in Porg, these are your numbers you're looking at. I like using this instead of Porg sometimes if I'm in a play system and I'm manipulating different fields and I want to see what it would do to my numbers.
Yeah.
It's just a quicker way to, because I just go back to the criteria tab, hit refresh data. So again, if you're in there and you're wanting, but obviously Porg is where you're going to get the most out of this information.
For sure. These are all the different customer part numbers I think that exist for it, and alternate codes and supplier part numbers. Yeah. Which kind of like.
Yeah, like I said, there is I guess we could kind of talk about. We'll talk about alternate when we're talking about merging and renaming, but I guess we could kind of touch on customer part number 2 after this. It's probably.
Yep, we didn't put that on the list. You're right, we missed that. Contracts. This looks like job contract to me.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, this is job contracts.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then, I mean.
And there's more.
I really like this screen.
It is one of it, and it was not in the original version of the web. And I remember specifically when it came. I did some modifications to it with some dyna changes because there's certain.
I was looking for moving average cost.
No.
Yeah, that's
there.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
I can't remember what changes I made because there were a couple things I didn't like. Oh, like transaction quantity. It gives you the quantity change. Like it, there were there was other things I tweaked to it, but this became my first to go to for research.
Oh, this is good. And then again,
and it's also pending transactions. If you see it was unit cost. That's what I wanted on there that didn't exist there. If you set costs to be up on there, if it's a 0, it's because it hasn't actually.
I'm just going to throw this out there because, again, folks may not realize this is how this works. When you drop any of these calendars, if you want to move in larger increments, just keep clicking in the middle of the header, and it allows you to really start to narrow down. We don't really have anything in 2050, but it really starts to help you narrow things down quickly.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad little feature.
So I think this is definitely useful for research. It's just useful for seeing some ins and outs. You're going to want to modify it a little bit, but it's one of the nicest transaction screens.
I like this ledger screen. I really do. The other one I'm a big fan of is commitment schedule. You see this in a lot of different places in the system. But again, this by default is lining up all of your ins and outs in the order that they're expected to happen, assuming your dates are halfway decent. I like it. I really do like this because if you're trying, it's netting out your stock and telling you when this transaction happens, this is what we think we're going to have. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Inventory returns. I don't think we're going to hit every single one of these screens. A lot of them are reduxes of each other, and it's just, hey, this is the type of transaction you're going to see on this. Production order, I think, is a little bit different because it's going to show you a lot of different things that are going on with it. There's some lot level detail in here. There are, here are production orders that have it open. Here's a list of assemblies that consume that component. I think is a good one as well. linked information is in there.
And you can also flip it for as a component and as
assembly, right? So if you flip it to assembly view, then you get a different look. So I do like that one. Safety stock, this one is so close to being useful. All it's missing is telling you why.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that's driving it? Is it set at the item level? Is it set at the supplier level? Like, if they could just put that in there, this would be an extremely useful research tool.
You just don't question it.
Yeah, it makes more sense that way. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Who bought what lot? I totally agree. I like this one as well.
There's actually a report too, a stock report that gives you a lot of that same information.
But yeah, this is really good for being, especially if you have a risk of like recalls and things like that. Very easy to quickly figure out where that material ended up, as long as that's what you
when they bought it and all that. Hence, who bought what when. I will say this as my final thought on Item Master Inquiry is it's a really, really great resource and tool for a item. If you're trying to do a whole research on a product line or a subset of items, this is probably going to be tedious to try to do it this way.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's great information. And the nice part is all this information lives here. So if you do like this information, you can always create custom portals or reports that use this information, but maybe in a wider criteria of items.